So during her pregnancy, the Melite's mother finds out her father is ill. The Melite's grandfather rushes to his side. He sooner or later passes away. Her mother, the Melite's grandmother, had fallen ill over heart minus over the loss of her husband and sooner or later passes, leaving this poor woman with no one in her corner, no one to protect her. Like, it isn't great. Like, it is bad for her. Sooner or later, the sperm donor's wife, the Melite's stepmother, finds out that the Melite's mother is pregnant and elevates her and makes her 10 times miserable. Even poisons the poor woman, leaving her almost on deathbed and leaving the Melite to have his illness that he has his entire life. Literally trying to kill mother and child. And this is when the Melite's paternal grandfather turns his back on the poor woman. Literally turns his back on the poor woman because of the Melite's stepmother's family. He also didn't want to actually truly reveal the events his son did to this poor woman was for his own reputation and his family's reputation. It wasn't just to protect her reputation. It was mostly just to protect his own and his family, especially if anyone found out what he did to the poor woman, his son to the poor woman. Yeah. She sooner or later, after giving birth to the Melite, after a bit, she passes away, begging the third uncle, the sperm donor's third brother, to protect the child. And the third brother, he likes to travel quite often, loves to travel, so he never stays around very much, and pleads to his father not to do anything to the child, because, the Melite's paternal grandfather had intentions of killing the child. But hearing his son plead for the child's life, he doesn't do anything to the child. But he doesn't do anything to protect the child. He makes the child nothing but a servant and allows the adults to send contempt towards the child. The adults don't do anything outright to the child, but they sure treat him like a servant, treat him like Cinderella, even though he's an ill, sickly child. And their contempt is seen by the children of the family, and they put their contempt and physically abuse him and bully him. And because the Melite is a smart child, he knows how to stay away from the abuse. The only time he doesn't get fully abused or mistreated is when his third uncle's around, but when his third uncle isn't around, he has no one to protect him or in his corner. He soon becomes wise and realizes that he needs to get out of there, and he goes to the doctor, his family's doctor, and pleads to the doctor to help him fake his death. And the doctor agrees and helps him fake his death. He sooner or later meets his adopted father and travels with his adopted father, who is a merchant. Sooner or later, his adopted father dies, and he ends up in the hands of his master, who teaches him the rest of the things he needed to know to survive. But yes, the Melite's life has just been suffer on suffer. Like, there is no revenge. Like, his mother never got revenge in her life. And this is around the time the Melite's able to get revenge. But he doesn't have to get his own hands dirty to frame his family. No, he just has to reveal the true crimes his family committed. So the Melite's paternal family, his sperm donor family, they have an important event every year. It's a literature competition. People travel far to come to this event because it's that well known and well beloved. And during this competition, the thing that the main character's been wanting, that musical instrument, is being put up for a competition prize. And so the main character's like, oh, I will give a poem, and it's super terrible. Like, look at the faces of the people there for the competition, and they're like, this is bad. And like, the main character's like, he didn't say it had to be good. He said it had to be a one in its own piece. He didn't say it had to be a really good piece. And I'm like, honey, just shut up. You're not getting it. You were terrible. Now, it didn't tell us what the poem exactly says, but honestly, from those faces, it reminds me of the faces or the way people act whenever the Melite and Stars of Chaos plays his flute. We all know the faces everyone makes. It's a run for the hills. This is how bad his poem probably was. So, I will admit when I'm wrong, where I misread something or misunderstand a scene. I do this quite often. You guys have seen me do it quite often. But one of the scenes I misunderstood was where the main character was like, oh, if you had been raised in a family, you would have turned out just like the sperm donor. And the male lead goes, oh no, his brothers were actually really good at doing their jobs. It's only the sperm donor who is unimportant and lays about. I assumed he didn't hold anything against the others. No, he does. He does hold against the other people. He does. And this is a great example that the main character doesn't have to drug up past events or his mother's own grudges against his family. His career, his job can help him do that with collecting evidence against his family without grudging up the past by specifically revealing that his first uncle was committing treason, was working with the enemy, giving information to the enemy, providing resources that should have gone to their people to the enemy, lying to their people, causing their people to try to revolt against the throne, literally hiding an assassin who tried killing the emperor. Like, he's drudging this up. He's like, I have all the evidence. I'm under the orders of the emperor. I am here to prove this criminal wrong. And he doesn't have to, like, his career gives him an opportunity to go against the people who hurt him in his past. Like, I love that. And yes, he will always put his work before his own benefits. Yes, this seems like it's his own benefits, but it's just a lucky coincidence that his job helps him get back. He would always put his work first. And I love that. I very much do. So the sperm donor is also caught for a crime, not the crime of what he did to the male lead's mother, but he gets caught in a crime trying to kill his wife. He literally tries killing his wife by poisoning her. And when this fails, because the poison he tries giving to her goes to an unbiased, uninvolved pregnant woman, and she dies with her unborn child. And he's like, oh no. So he frames the family doctor, who is the town's only doctor that will literally help any person with no money, will help them out in their situation. Yes, tries framing the doctor, and the doctor's assistant helps him frame the doctor. And it hadn't been for the male lead, the doctor would have gone to prison and been severely punished for the crime. What also F's over the sperm donor is that his wife knew he tried poisoning her. And instead of outing her husband for being the criminal, she tries framing the mistress for the crime. Full on tries framing the mistress for the crime by stating the mistress paid off the doctor to poison her. Literally stated the mistress had found out that if, she wasn't in the picture, the mistress would get to marry the sperm donor. So she went to the doctor, paid off the doctor to poison the stepmother, and so she could be with the male lead sperm donor. But with both of them having framed people for the crime, the male lead's able to plug up evidence for both of them being accomplices. Like, she literally covers for her husband, but this makes sense. This woman repeatedly backed her husband no matter how many times he had affairs, and went against the women he had affairs with. And then, especially one of his victims, like his literal victim she went against. Like, shows how much of a disgusting woman she is. She even protected her husband who tried poisoning her. Literally tried killing her. Like, come on. Like, the male lead even ridicules her for that. Like, you're going to jail now. You know that, right? Like, you're an accomplice to murder now. You should have outed your husband for the crime, but instead you try framing an innocent woman and an innocent man for a crime your husband tried doing to you. You would have been the dead one, not the pregnant woman and her child, if it worked out. Like,